one is local area network, second one is metropolitan network, third one is wide area network. So these are the three important computer communication networks. And also we have discussed what is local area network and what is wide area network, and what is Ethernet protocol also we have discussed. So in today class, let us discuss what are the supporting protocol for wired local area network, that is Ethernet protocol. So Ethernet protocol is actually wired local area network. So which IEEE protocol is supporting for Ethernet? So that is IEEE 802. So this is called as IEEE project 802. So IEEE 802 is a standard protocol in the name of wired local area network of Ethernet. So Ethernet standard protocol is IEEE 802. So in 1985, the Computer Society of the IEEE started a project called IEEE 802 to set some standard norms to enable intercommunication among computer devices from a variety of manufacturers. IEEE 802 does not seek to replace any part of the open source interface model or TCP/IP protocol suite. So we know that OSI model, there are 7 layers in OSI model, that is APSTN, application layer, data link layer, physical layer, network layer. There are 7 layers in open source interface model and TCP/IP protocol suite. So as we know that TCP/IP protocol is a protocol which is supporting for local area network. UDP protocol, that is TCP/IP protocol, is nothing but connection oriented protocol, like how we will connect to desktop with wired. So that is called as TCP/IP protocol. Using TCP/IP protocol, we can connect to computer system physically using wire. That is supported by TCP/IP protocol suite. UDP protocol is a standard protocol which is supporting for wireless communication. Means how we can contact other person through wireless. So that is called as UDP protocol. So mainly there are two different types of communication. One is wired communication, second one is wireless communication. Example for wired communication, how we can contact, means communicate to computer devices using wire, that is using TCP/IP protocol, that is wired communication. Wireless protocol, example our mobile communication system, means how we can contact other person without using wires, that is using air protocol, that is UDP protocol. So that is wireless communication. Nowadays mobile communication is the best example for wireless communication. So understood. So IEEE 802 is a standard protocol in the name of Ethernet protocol. Instead, it is a very specific functions of the physical layer and the data link layer of major local area network protocol. So IEEE 802 is also a wired protocol, as you told. So Ethernet protocol actually wired local area network. So in the name of Ethernet, so IEEE 802 is supporting for physical layer and the data link layer in the open source interface protocol. In OSI model, as I told you, there are 7 networks, 7 models, right? APSTN. So in this APSTN, so IEEE 802 is supporting for physical layer and the data link layer of major local area network protocol. The relationship of the 802 standard to the TCP/IP protocol suite is shown below in this. In next figure, I will show that what is that TCP/IP protocol with IEEE 802. The IEEE has subdivided the data link layer into 2 layers, that is logical link control and media access protocol, that is MAC layer protocol. So there are two components in the data link layer, that is logical link control, that is LLC, and media access control, that is MAC. IEEE has also created several physical layer standards for the different LAN protocols. Now let us discuss what is logical link control and what is media access control in IEEE 802 protocol with data link layer. Now let us discuss one by one. What is logical link control protocol? Dear students, you may get for 6 marks or 8 marks. Briefly explain what is IEEE 802 Ethernet protocol and explain what is logical link control and what is media access control protocols. For 6 marks or 8 marks in the main exam, you may get this question. Now let us discuss one by one. What is logical link control? In IEEE project 802, in IEEE 802, flow control, error control, and part of the framing duties are collected into one sublayer called as logical link control. So, in you might be studied what is flow control, what is error control, and what is framing. Have you studied this? Framing is nothing but data. So how to arrange the data? As we know that 8-bit, 16-bit from D0 to D7 or D0 to D15 for 16-bit, that is called as data framing. Data framing is handled in both the logical link control sublayer and the media access control sublayer. The logical link control provides a single link layer control protocol for all the IEEE local area networks. So you should remember that the logical link control provides a single link layer control protocol for all the IEEE local area networks. This means logical link control protocol can provide interconnectivity between different local area networks because it makes the media access control sublayer transparent and media access control, that is MAC layer. IEEE 802 has created a sublayer called media access control that defines the specific access method for each local area network. My dear students, you should know the difference between logical link control and media access control. Logical link control provides a single link layer control protocol for all the IEEE local area networks, but the media access control protocol that defines the specific access method for each local area network. So these are the difference between logical link control and media access control. So logical link control, again I will explain you. Logical link control is a collection of flow control, means for example flow control in the sense how to send the data one by one. For example, if you want to send only 8-bit data from one system to another system, only 8-bit. If you want to send 16-bit data, only 16-bit data we can send. That is called as flow control. Error control, for example, if there is any network loss or communication loss, so immediately there will be error control. Information will be communicated to the source system or sender transmitter, that is called as error control. If there is any fault or mistake happens or any problem occurs in the network, so immediately the transmitter or sender will receive the signal that there will be some problems in the network while sending the data from transmitter to receiver. That is called as error control. So the collection of flow control, error control is nothing but logical link protocol. But the MAC media access control defines the specific access method for each local area network. In each local area network, there will be specific method for transmitting, for sending the data from source to destination. So that is defined by the media access control. For example, CSMA or CDSD define media access method for Ethernet local area network and defines the token passing method for token ring and token bus local area network. So there are two different types of method for communicating the devices are sending the data. First one is token ring, second one is token bus in the local area network. So these are the two different types of method for communicating. The communication devices are sending the data from source to destination between communicated devices. First one is token ring, second one is token bus. So these are the different methods for transmitting the data and communicating different devices using networks. So this is, as I told you in the previous section, what are the differences between logical link control and media access control. So we are seeing in the first row, that is data link layer. Second one is Ethernet media access control, token ring and token bus methods in the local area network. In the second row, that is physical layer. In the physical layer usually that is wired communication. As I told you, TCP IP protocol will be supporting, means communication oriented protocols supporting for the transmitting the data in the physical layer, TCP IP protocol in the transmission media. Then Ethernet physical layer, token ring physical layer, token bus layer in the IEEE standard. So media access control and what is logical link control. Once again, I will tell you. So the collection of flow control, error control and part of the framing duties is called as logical link layer, and it creates a single link layer control protocol for all the IEEE standard local area network. But the media access control that defines the specific method, whether token ring or token bus in the local area network. So this function will be defined by the MAC control protocol. So this is one simple block diagram, differences between logical link control and media access control. So this is IEEE 802 protocol structure. So IEEE 802 contains the logical link control and media access control. So these are the different two components in the IEEE 802. You should remember in the IEEE 802 protocol, logical link control and media access control, and what are the functions of logical link control and what are the functions of media access control. You should know that with this block diagram for 6 marks or 8 marks. Now let us see what is media access control protocol. A media access is a network data transfer policy that determines how data is transmitted between two computer terminals through a network cable. So MAC protocol, as I told you, physical layer. So how to transmit the data between two systems or any number of systems using a network cable. Then the MAC control policy involves sublayer of the data link layer 2 in the open source interface reference model in all the APSTN protocol. The essence of the media access control protocol is to ensure non-collision and eases the transfer of data packets between two computer terminals. A collision takes place when two or more terminals transmit data information simultaneously. My dear students, you should know that what is a data collision. So data collision is nothing but at a time when two or more computers sends the data or information in a single channel. So then only there will be data collision occurs. Listen properly. Once again, I will tell you, when more than two computers at a time sends the data packets in a single channel, so definitely there will be data collision. When data collision occurs, definitely there will be data loss. When in communication channel, when there will be data collision occurs, immediately error control messages will be communicated to the sender that there will be data collision occurs. Then the complete data or whatever the data sent by the sender or transmitter cannot be reached to the destination because there will be data collision. So data collision is nothing but the data loss. Again, I will tell you what is data collision. at a time more than two computer systems sends the data packets in a single channel, so definitely there will be data collision, right? So if data collision occurs, definitely there will be error, and error fault will be communicated to the sender or receiver. So again, the sender will transmit the data. Later, again, the sender or transmitter will send the data to the data packet to the destination after some times. So this is nothing but collision. So media access control can monitor the data collision, fault or error in the network. It leads to a breakdown of communication. As I told you, definitely there will be communication gap, breakdown of communication. So later, after sometimes, again sender or transmitter will resend the same data packet to the destination, which can improve costly or organization that lean heavily on data transmission. So IEEE 802 has created a sub layer called MAC that defines the specific access method, that is, as I told you, token or bus data transmission in a local area network, that is specifically defined by the MAC control protocol. For example, it defines carrier sends multiple access or CD as the media access method for Ethernet local area networks, and defines the token passing method for token ring and token bus local area network, which one media access control. The media access control networks channel through which data is transmitted between terminal nodes to avoid collision as three various way of accomplishing this purpose. There are three various ways of accomplishing this purpose. First one is carrier sends multiple access with collision avoidance. So media access control, usually it avoids the data collision in the network or in the channel. So there are three methods. First one is carrier sends multiple access with collision avoidance. Second one, carrier sends multiple access with collision detection. For example, so prior detection option will also be there in data collision or data loss. Prior data collision detection is also available with carrier sends multiple access. Next one is demand priority. So these are the two different methods in the media access control. First one is carrier sends multiple access with collision avoidance, carrier sends multiple access with collision detection method, and demand priority. Demand priority means, for example, there are three systems X, Y, Z. Assume that there are three systems X, Y, and Z. For example, if Z wants to send the data before Y and X devices, then priority should be given to the Z system only, Z transmitter only. Along with Z transmitter, X and Y devices are ready to send the data. Then the priority will be given to which system comes first for transmitting the data. That is called as demand priority. So this policy will be available in both local area network as well as wide area network. If they follow the procedure of demand priority, definitely the data collision will be avoided and detected. So this is called as demand priority. Understood? Demand priority means which system will come first for transmitting the data. So the priority should be given to that system for the first system. That is called as first come first serve. That is called as demand priority. Token. Now this is other concept. My dear students, understood now? In the 802 IEEE standard protocol, there are logical link control and media access protocol. So this is for 8 marks. Please you study this concept. Now let us study what are the Ethernet evaluation. As I told you, there are depends on data speed. There are various Ethernet protocols are available in the local area network. Let us discuss one by one. The Ethernet local area network has developed in 1970 and 80s by Robert Metcalfe and David Box. So the Ethernet local area network was introduced in the year 1970 by Robert Metcalfe and David Box. You should know it. And depends on the data speed of the Ethernet. There are four classification of the Ethernet IEEE 802 protocol. First one is standard Ethernet, that is the data speed is 10 Mbps. Second one is fast Ethernet, that is the data speed is 100 Mbps. Third one is gigabit Ethernet 1 Gbps, and last standard Ethernet protocol is 10 gigabit Ethernet 10 Gbps. So four these are the four different classification of the Ethernet, depends on the data speed are available. So standard protocol, fast Ethernet protocol, gigabit Ethernet for 1 Gbps and 10 gigabit Ethernet for 10 Gbps. So these are the Ethernet evaluation or the classification of the standard Ethernet IEEE 802 point protocol. With black diagram, if you get question on this topic, you can write and explain. What are the standard Ethernet protocol? Standard Ethernet that have not changed during the evaluation. There are three different technologies are available in the standard Ethernet protocol. First one is characteristics of the standard Ethernet. Now let us discuss one by one. What are the important characteristics of the standard Ethernet protocol? First one is connectionless and unreliable service. Connectionless, as I told you, that is wireless communication. Connectionless is nothing but wireless communication. So which is the supporting protocol for wireless? That is UDP protocol. For connection oriented protocol, TCP and IP protocol is the supporting protocol. For connectionless is nothing but UDP protocol. Usually wireless communication or connectionless protocol is unreliable service. Now Ethernet provides a connectionless service, which means each frame sent is independent of the previous or next frame. Ethernet has no connection establishment or connection termination phases. The sender sends a frame whenever it has it. The receiver may or may not be ready for it. So in connectionless, we don't know whether destination is ready to accept the data, ready to receive the data when sender is ready to transmitting the data. That's why this wireless or connectionless is called as unreliable service. There is no guarantee that the data will be received by the receiver. So this is called as unreliable. The sender sends a frame whenever it has sent, but the receiver may or may not be ready for it, ready to receive the data. That is called as unreliable service. Again, in the same connectionless and unreliable, the sender may overwhelm the receiver with frames, which may result in dropping frames. Of course, when destination is not ready to receive the data from the sender, definitely there will be dropping of the frames. Frame is nothing but the standard format of the data or information, that is called as frame. It may be 8-bit, it may be 16-bit, or it may be 32-bit, depends on the data length. If a frame drops, definitely the sender will not know about it. Of course, the sender will not come to know whether the data means the frame is dropped or not, since IP, Internet Protocol, which is using this service of Ethernet, is also connectionless Internet Protocol. It will not know about it either. If the transport layer is also a connectionless protocol, such as UDP. So I have told you in the beginning, UDP is connectionless protocol or wireless communication protocol. The frame is lost. The salvation may only come from the application layer. However, if the transport layer is TCP, the sender TCP doesn't receive acknowledgement for its segment and send it again. Ethernet is also unreliable like IP and UDP because Ethernet is both connection oriented and connectionless protocol. As I told you, Ethernet is supporting for both local area network as well as wide area network. Wide area can be connection oriented or connection less. That's why Ethernet is also unreliable like IP and UDP when it is connectionless protocol. It is the duty of high level protocol to find out about it. Of course, if there is data frame is drop when receiver is not ready to receive the data, definitely there will be data frame drops. Then the duty of Ethernet protocol is to find out whether frame is dropped or not at the receiver. So this is frame format. As I told you, there is a standard structure or format of the data frame format. The Ethernet frame contains 7 fields as shown in the black diagram. That is preamble, that is 7 bytes, destination address 6 bytes, source address 6 bytes, data type that is 2 bytes, either 0 or 1. There are 2 bytes, data and padding. Then control, resource control, that is CRC, that is 4 bytes. So preamble 56 bits of alternating ones and zeros. Of course, data frame is nothing but D0 to D7 means 0 or 1 or D0 to D15 16 bits. Right. SFD that is start frame delimiter flag that is 8 bits only 1101 from right to left 1101 0101. Then the minimum payload length is 46 bytes. The maximum payload length is 1500 bytes. Then the minimum frame length is 512 bits or 64 bits, depends on data width available in the network. Then the maximum frame length is 12,144 bits or 1518 bytes. You should remember that preamble and start frame delimiter is physical layer header, right? So preamble is 7 bytes, SFD that is start frame delimiter flag is 1 byte, 0 or 1, right? So this is called as physical layer. Then the destination address of the frame format is 6 bytes, source address is 6 bytes, type that is 0 or 1 that is 2 bytes, and the maximum and minimum payload length is defined in data and padding. That is minimum payload length is 46 bytes and maximum payload length is 1500 bytes. Then from destination address to CRC, right? That is minimum frame length is 512 bits or 64 bytes. Minimum frame length is 12,144 bits or 1518 bytes. So this is the format of frame or data in the Ethernet frame. Now let us discuss what is preamble in the frame format. So preamble is nothing but this fields contains 7 bits, as I told you, or 56 bits of alternating zeros and ones that alter the receiving system to the coming frame and enable it to synchronize its clock if it is out of synchronization. Preamble. The pattern provides only an alert and a timing pulse that is on and off pulse signal, 7 bytes. The 56-bit pattern allows the station to miss some bits at the beginning of the frame. Some bits may be missing at the beginning of the frame. The preamble is actually added at the physical layer and is not part of the frame. Of course, in the black diagram, we have observed that preamble is not a part of the frame, that is physical layer only. Preamble and SFD will be appeared in the physical layer and it is not formally part of the frame, of course. Now what is start frame delimiter, SFD? So this is also 1 byte, as I told you, 7 bits, 1101 010101, that is 1 byte, signals the beginning of the frame. So SFD is the beginning of the frame, but preamble is not actual format or part of the frame. SFD warns the station or stations, one station or more than one station, it will warn that this is the last chance for synchronization. If there is any and means timing pulses are missing, then SFD will warn to the single station or multiple stations. It gives the warning. Then the last two bits are 1 1. Of course, from left to right, last two digits are 1 1 2, and alert the receiver that next field is the destination address. It gives the warning that the next two fields are the destination address. This field is actually a flag that defines the beginning of the frame. Of course, SFD start frame delimiter is a control flag. So it gives the warning to the synchronization, means destination, if any data or bits are missing. So we need to remember that an Ethernet frame is a variable length frame. It needs a flag to define the beginning of the frame. The SFD fields is also added at the physical layer. Of course, at the physical layer, as we seen in the black diagram, so there are two components are available, two fields are available. First one is preamble and start frame delimiter, but preamble is not a starting bits of the format, but SFD is a starting bit. It gives a warning to the destination if there is any miscommunication of the synchronization or timing pulse. Now let us see what is destination address in frame format. So destination address, as we have seen in the black diagram, this field is a 6 bytes or 48 bits and contains the link layer address of the destination station or stations to receive the packet. When the receiver sees its own link layer address or a multicast address for a group that the receiver is a member of our broadcast address, it decapsulates the data from the frame or passes the data to the upper layer protocol defined by the value of the type field. Of course, destination address is always 48 bits. So destination address, actually it receives the data sent by the transmitter or sender. Now what is source address? Of course, source address is a address reserved for transmitting the data or sending the data. This field is also 6 bytes or 48 bits. Data contains the link layer address of the sender of the packet. So this is link layer for transmitting the data to the destination or through different devices, media devices between sender and receiver, means sender and the destination. Now what is type? Type also we have seen in the black diagram. This field defines the upper layer protocol whose packet is encapsulated in the frame. This protocol can be Internet Protocol, ERP Protocol, or OSPF Protocol, and so on. There are so many standard protocols are available for the type of frame format. So IP Internet Protocol is wireless, as we know that, right? So there is no any guarantee when the destination is receiving the data or not. So that is called as unreliable or connectionless protocol. ERP is also, OSPF is also, and there are so many protocols. In other words, it serves the same purpose as the protocol field in a datagram and the port number. There are port number in microcontroller or microprocessor. You might be studied what is port number. Right, in a segment or user datagram. This is available in the physical layer. It is used for multiplexing and demultiplexing the data. Multiplexing and demultiplexing. See, when sender or transmitter is ready to send the data, that is multiplexing. While sending the data between sender and receiver, between source and destination, that is multiplexing. Means the same format of the data we cannot transmit to the destination. So there will be demultiplexing. The data at the sender will be converted into some other format, that is called as demultiplexing. But at the receiver, whatever the format of the data sent by the sender, same format of the data will be received at the receiver. That is called as multiplexing. So multiplexing format or type is actual format at the sender and the receiver. But at the while sending the data means through wired or wireless, the data format will be, the data type will be frame. Type of frame or type of data will be changed while transmitting the data. That is called as demultiplexing. Now what is data? The data, this field carries data encapsulated from upper layer protocol, of course. Then it is a minimum of 46 bits and a maximum of 1500 bytes. If the data coming from upper layer is more than 1500 bytes, it should be fragmented and encapsulated in more than one frame. It is less than 46 bytes, of course it needs to be padded with extra zeros, depends on the data width or data frame. A padded data frame is delivered to the upper layer protocol as it is without removing the padding. The padding means adding extra bits, zeros are ones. Usually in padding, zeros will be adding, which means that it is the responsibility of the upper layer to remove, or in the case of the sender, to the padding. Padding you have studied in 5th semester in digital signal processing. You have studied that what is zero padding. So zero padding will, if you add zero to the data frame, there will not be any effect. We can remove it also. The upper layer protocol needs to know the length of its data. For example, datagram as a field that defines the length of the data. Now another field is CRC. The last field contains error detection information, in this case a CRC 32. The CRC is calculated over the address, types and data field. If the receiver calculates the CRC and finds that it is not zero, means zero padding, corruption in transmission, it discards the frame. If there is any extra bits are added, definitely that is called as a corruption in the transmission, and definitely that frame is that frame will be discarded. What is frame length? The Ethernet has imposed restrictions on both the minimum and maximum length of a frame. The minimum length restriction is required for the correct operation of carrier sense multiple access. An Ethernet frame needs to have minimum length of 512 bits or 64 bytes. Now, the frame length, minimum frame length is 64 bits, maximum frame length is 1518 bytes exactly. The minimum data length is 46 bits. The maximum data length is 1500 bytes. See the difference between frame and data. The minimum frame length is 64 bytes, but the minimum data length is 46 bytes in the frame length. The maximum frame length is 1500 bytes, but the maximum data length is 1500 bytes. What is addressing? So addressing is also part of the frame format. Each station on an Ethernet network, such as PC, workstation, or printer, or anything connection oriented, as its own network interface card, that is NIC. So each and every cable is having some port address, that is called as address. For example, if I want to get printer using a printer with cable, means wired connection, printer with system, definitely that is NIC, network interface card. This network interface card should have specific address, then only using PC or laptop we can get the printout. Whatever the data is available in our laptop or PC, we can get the same printout. Otherwise it cannot detect if there is no address of the network interface card. So definitely there is, we cannot we cannot send the data to get the print from the printer. So each and every source and destination or each station and Ethernet protocol should have specific address. The printer network cable or any network cable is called as network interface card NIC. The NIC fits inside the station and it provides the station with a link layer address. The Ethernet address is 6 bytes. Of course, the Ethernet address in the network interface card is 6 bytes, that is 40 bits. Normally written in hexadecimal notation with a colon between the bytes. For example, the following shows the MAC address. So this is one example of the media access address of the Ethernet. 4A 30102110 and IA. So this is the specific address, that is 48 bits. If you represent, that is 1A. So totally this 4A 30102110 one hexadecimal number, that is 6 bytes. 1 2 3 4 5 6. There are 6 bytes. Are we are seeing in this example of the Ethernet MAC address. Now, what is transmission of address bits? The way the address are sent out online is different from way they are written in hexadecimal notation of code. The transmission is left to right transmission of address bits. The transmission of address bits is not same as from left to right. It will be interchange from right to left. That is transmission is left to right, byte by byte. However, for each byte, the last significant bit is sent first and the most significant bit is sent first. First LSB first send and MSB will send last. Interchanging. This means that the bit that defines an address as unicast or multicast arrives. We will see later what is unicast and multicast arrives first at the receiver. This helps the receiver immediately know if the packet is unicast or multicast. Now let us see here. The address is, for one example, address 4721B2E08 and EE is sent out. 6 bytes is sent out online. How it will be available? The address is sent left to right and left to right first, byte by byte. For each byte it is right to left. So hexadecimal, we are seeing that 4721B2E08EE are representing in the form of binary numbers. That is, for example, 47 from left to right 0100 111, but transmitting in the reverse direction. So whichever is the LSB, it will be treated as means sent to the MSB and MSB sent to the LSB. So this is called as the address is sent left to right, byte by byte for each byte, and it is sent right to left, bit by bit. So same format will not be transmitting. The same address will not be transmitting. The address will be interchanged left to right. And what is unicast, multicast and broadcast address? A source address is always a unicast address. The frame comes from only one station, that is called as unicast. Source address is always a unicast, that is the frame comes from only one station. The destination address, however, it can be that the destination address can be both unicast and multicast or broadcast, but source address is always unicast from only one station, but destination address can receive from multiple stations. That's why the destination address can be unicast or multicast or broadcast. So here unicast is always 0, multicast is always 1, right? So destination address is always multicast. We are seeing byte 1, byte 2 up to byte 6. The address is always 6 bytes as we seen in the example. So unicast, you should know that the source address is always unicast, come from only one station. Source address means, one example I will tell you. If you are a receiver, any number of sender or user can send the data, but if you want to send the data at a time, you can send only one data, means sorry, any number of data to a single user. to a single receiver. You cannot transmitting the data. In a group you can send, but individually we can send only one data, means any number of data to a single receiver. But receiver, if you are a receiver, you can receive any data from any number of sender. So that's why destination address is called as a, it can be a unicast or multicast or broadcast, but source address is always a unicast. The frame comes from the frame come from only one station. The unicast address is always 0, multicast address is always 1. If the least significant bit of the first byte in a destination address is 0, the address is unicast. Otherwise, it is multicast, means 1. The broadcast address is a special case of the multicast address. The recipient are always the station on the local area network. For example, the define the type of the following destination address: A, B, C. Solution is to find the type of the address unicast or multicast or broadcast. Let us see in this example. The second, to find the type of address, we need to look at the second hexadecimal digit from left to right. Left, if it is even, the address is unicast. If it is odd, the address is multicast. If it is even, the address is even, that is called as unicast. If it is odd, so definitely the address is multicast if all the digits are F. So in the C example, therefore A is unicast because all the numbers are even numbers, that is 1 0 1 0, even numbers. The second one is multicast because there is 7 will come, that is odd. See in the first 1 0 1 0, that is 4 and 8, right? So 1 2 4 8 in the first, that is 12, that is even number. Of course here 1 2 4 in the second example odd because 1 1 1, that is 1 2 4, so 7 will come, that is multicast. See, this is a broadcast address because all digits are F, means 1 1 1 1 only. All numbers are F only, hexadecimal. That's why that is called as broadcast. Dear students, you should know that unicast is always even numbers. Multicast is always odd numbers. Broadcast should contains all numbers should be 1 1 1, that is F. Now next class let us discuss what is access method. Thank you.